speaking at one or not.
Okay, all right. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone, and welcome to the June 3rd meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. My name is Shelley Bueller, and I have the pleasure of serving as chair of the commission alongside Commissioner Bob Archer and Commissioner Kevin Cook.
Good morning.
Commissioners. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
First item today is the proclamations presentations. Presentation by Felicia McKay, Executive Director of Keep America Beautiful, to Shawnee County Parks and Recreation.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to make this presentation. I'd like to have Terry Bertles and Linda Kelly and Bill Rippon come up. As a Keep America Beautiful local affiliate, we are allowed to nominate 12 of our business and civic group supporters in the community for National Keep America Beautiful Awards. There are 700 affiliates competing for these awards, and last year, 2012, our local affiliate received 5 of those awards. We had a first place in the nation, Custom Tree Care; second place, Waste Management of Kansas; Eisenhower Elementary; Payless Shoe Source, and also Shawnee County Parks and Rec. So today I'd like to talk about some of the excerpts from the award nomination that I wrote. With the recent consolidation of the City Parks and Recreation and Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, there's been a huge effort that we would like to recognize. This transition could have been very difficult, but thanks to the spirit of cooperation of the employees, it went very smoothly. One of the programs that we partner with Parks and Rec is the Adopt a Park program. They actually implement the program, and we promote it to our volunteers, provide trash bags to them for cleanups. We have approximately 110 parks in our community, and without the help of these volunteers, we would have a very difficult time keeping them all clean. With the consolidation efforts, the new coordinator of the program, Linda Kelly, has embraced Adopt a Park program. Not only that, she has totally reorganized the program, encouraging volunteers to go beyond just picking up litter. They actually encourage volunteers to trim trees, mow, edge sidewalks, plant flowers. Linda has also expanded the program to include one-time efforts by different groups and being recognized for those efforts. Several painting projects were organized for our volunteers at a local historical Wardmead Park. One of the projects, we had volunteers from TARC, and they were so proud of their accomplishments when they were finished. We were painting white picket fence, so we called it whitewashing at Wardmead, and we advised them to put on their Tom Sawyer clothes and come help whitewash. Another partnership was the painting of our Shunga mural by the tag team, Topekans Against Graffiti. Another project which we partnered with Parks and Rec was the addition of the Sensory Garden in Gage Park in the Civitan area. One event with a huge impact that we've been holding for 4 years now, is the Park Pride Day. The City Forester, along with Parks and Recreation, team up with Keep America Beautiful to hold a fantastic event. They help us recruit several tree trimming businesses, and we usually have about 50 volunteers to help clean up. Last year, we were up on Burnett's Mound. The year before, Shunga Park, which is when the nomination was written. The value of that event is over $10,000 of donated cost benefit. Another huge event that we partner with Parks and Rec is when the Methodist churches of Northeast Kansas coordinate and to Hands on Topeka. They usually have approximately 1,000 volunteers, and they pick up litter, tree limbs, and leaves and help beautify the parks that day. We also have the support of Parks and Recreation through the donation of facilities for some of our events like Get Down and Get Dirty, and also our annual Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon. We also have the help and assistance of our president of Keep America Beautiful, Bill Rippon, from the Parks Department. Without the support of Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, many of these events just would not be possible. When we have 700 affiliates competing for the same 12 awards, there's 36 awards awarded each year, and this year we brought 5 home to Topeka, Shawnee County. So we're so proud of that and so appreciative of our partnership with Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. So at this time, I'd like to present our 2012 Distinguished Service Citation to Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. We'd like to thank you for your support in the past and your continued support in the future. Thank you very much.
I want to just say, the help that Linda provides with the Adopt a Park program is invaluable. The work that Bill's done as a president of the association for several years is invaluable. And of course, you guys know the value that Felicia brings to Keep America Beautiful. We truly couldn't do all that we do without their help. So we certainly appreciate it. We appreciate this recognition as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Felicia.
Very good. Thanks. Felicia, do you have anyone else you want here today you want to introduce?
You know, we have our charter member, Marge Heaney, who has been so supportive to this organization from the very beginning. That's right. She's been with us about, I think, 37 years now, so we appreciate all that she does for us. She's our greatest cheerleader.
Well, thanks for bringing recognition to the Parks and Rec Department.
Thank you.
Good work all around.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one set of vouchers dated May 31, 2013, the amount of $1,002,071.47, and I'll make a motion to approve the voucher payments.
There's a motion to approve the voucher payments. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. Are there questions? I do have one question and clarification that, Betty, I'm going to ask for you to clarify. We do have payment to Joseph Cook, no relation.
No relation.
In the amount of $12,475. I believe that's for the purchase of the towers. But I did question why it was coming out of general expense, and you had an explanation that I
Yes.
thought might be helpful.
Yes,
to
that
share.
will come out of the COP, but the trustee for that generally do not make payments to individuals. So what we are doing in that case is Shawnee County is making the payment to the Cooks, and then the COP will reimburse the county for that amount. The same procedure was handled on the prior purchase too.
The Badura property.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you. There's a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item A2, consider correction orders. There are no correction orders today. A3, consider approval of resolution number 2013-50, authorizing the county clerk to cancel and reissue a check. And Commissioners, this is was a payroll check that let's see, no, it was not. No, I'm sorry, it was not paid. This was a check that, and what we do is we verify all checks that are over $500 before we, or $500 or more before we cancel into that, do that great big batch of canceling checks. So this is the last one, and so I'm just asking, same person, it obviously has not been canceled. We have the item attached that it was in the still issue status, and Dr. Norris has paid the $10 fee. So if you would just approve, we will cancel it and reissue.
Reissue. Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to reissue.
Second.
Actually, we need the motion to cancel
Cancel
and
and
reissue.
reissue. Yeah.
Motion to cancel and reissue.
Motion
Second.
by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you. Item B, District Attorney, number 1, consider approval to fund a proposed cold case homicide unit in the amount of $150,000.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
For the record, my name is Chad Taylor. I'm the Shawnee County District Attorney. How would you like to do this morning? You've all had a chance to read through and review the proposal. Would you like for me to answer questions that you may have about that?
I think let's start out with clarification on what's being asked.
Okay.
For the remainder of this year and for subsequent years.
Okay. As the program originally started, what we had looked at doing was putting in place a $300,000 annual expenditure. We started having these discussions back in January of this year, which would have put us in a posture to have a full-time, my full-time chief deputy and a senior assistant district attorney, and fund up out of the DA's office a half-time investigator position. The total freight on that would have been approximately $300,000 a year. In discussions with members of this body individually, as well as the state of the finances of the county, there were ongoing discussions evolving into, if we couldn't bite off 300, could we look at 150? Could we look at putting this in incrementally? At which point in time we went back to our law enforcement partners, talked with them and said, you know, if we can do this at the 150 level, which would be basically taking Jackie Spradling off the line day to day and putting her in and running this unit. And for those of you who don't know who Jackie is, she was my co-counsel in the Dana Chandler case. And being in a position then that she would run that with our halftime coordinating investigator, along with all of the ancillary support that we would get from the Topeka Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, the KBI. You know, we brought in federal resources on cold cases before, so as far as law enforcement cooperation goes right now in Shawnee County, we're definitely headed in the right direction. So where that puts us at the 150 mark, with those resources allocated to this project, what we're asking for this fiscal year is to fund up the balance of the year, which would be $75,000. And then what our request is that moving forward for fiscal year 14 and 15 and 16 and 17, then that minimum commitment be $150,000.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. If you have additional questions, go ahead.
Mr. Taylor,
Yeah, Commissioner.
the request indicates that it's for 150, but your indication is actually it's for the remainder of this year of 2013. It's just for 75,000?
That's correct, because we've already burned through half of this year.
Okay. So for this, and so when we're looking at the agenda, we should actually be looking at a request for 75,000, just for clarification.
Yes, for fiscal year 2013.
The Topeka Capital Journal ran an article over the weekend talking about how there's been cold case prosecution up to this point without this special fund. I didn't know if you wanted to have just a chance to respond as to why this is a necessary expense and what we'll be able to do in addition to what you're already doing.
Well, I think that what you're talking about wasn't an article, it was actually an op-ed piece by the editorial board. And there were some inaccuracies that were put forward in that op-ed piece based upon the number of prosecutions that had actually occurred, the success rate of those. And in addition to that, the world's changed in Shawnee County. And that's what I keep talking about when I go out and talk to civic groups. You folks have heard it for the last 3 years when we've come down and done our budget presentation, excuse me, is that our crime pattern has changed. We very rarely have a single homicide victim and a single homicide defendant. What we're looking at is we're looking at multiple co-defendants on a single homicide case. And those co-defendant cases are extremely resource draining. In addition to that, what we didn't have on the books in '09 when I came into office and we started working on these cases was the fact that we've got 2 pending death penalty cases right now in our office, Billy Davis Jr. and Philip Cheatham. And we've got evidence from all around the country, and it even boils it down to state-specific costs on a death penalty case. And right now, a death penalty case is estimated to cost $1.26 million to be able to prosecute from beginning to end. And so if you look at what our budget is with 2 death penalty cases on the books, that's where our resources are going, in addition to making sure that everything else that we have to push through the pipe stays on the table and that we're still able to deliver justice for our other constituents. So I hope I answered your question and clarified the inaccuracies that were in that.
Thank you.
Further questions?
Yeah,
Mr. Archer?
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney. And I talked to the District Attorney at length on Friday about this initiative, and I indicated to him at that time that I wouldn't be supporting the funding for 2013. I think we need to go through the budget process for 2014, although I will view it favorably on a going forward basis. But I'm concerned about our financial position. But I'm intrigued about the proposal. I asked some questions, and you had really good answers to them Friday, and I appreciate that. So I look forward to vetting this in the budget process for 2014. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Taylor, could you tell us a little bit about the other 150 that's being supported by, you said, other enforcement partners?
Well, it isn't that. It isn't that that they're supporting the other 150.
Okay.
Basically, the way that, if we look, speaking generically, at the way that we've handled these cases in the past, is what happens is that there is a thorough vetting of the case going back from day one, document one, picture one, all the way through to what has evolved over from the date of the crime until basically today. And the prosecution team sits down with the referring law enforcement agency. We'll pick on the Topeka Police Department. We'll use them as an example. So what we would do is we would bring in all of the detectives who had worked on the case, some of which are probably retired and moved away, so we'll bring them in via telephone to basically talk through where the case was, the evolution of the case, and ultimately where it stopped and why it stopped there. And then based upon what is discovered there will be a mountain of additional follow-up that will need to be done. And it's a matter of the prosecution team seeing where this case needs to head, having the buy-in from the referring law enforcement agency, and if they have the ultimate resources to be able to accomplish those tasks, then they would be primarily utilized. If not, then we would make a request to the KBI. We've made requests to the FBI before to be able to get that done, but as far as a transfer of cash taking place to fund this particular unit, that is not occurring.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Any further questions from the commission? At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone wanting to speak on this item. They can come up to the podium and state your name and make your comments.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd just like to take a moment of your time. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Douglas Searcy. I am a retired 27-year veteran from the Topeka Police Department. I finished my career in the Homicide Cold Case Squad, which was newly started by my department, who, quite honestly, did a great job and has a higher clearance rate in the homicide rate for our community. But where we failed was after cases get a certain age, they fall into a box. They fall into that file. They're never closed, but they aren't actively worked. Partly due to the amount of caseload that detectives have. And I can tell you my current occupation as the Crime Stoppers Coordinator. We look back at some of those cold cases with the help of Don McWilliams, who I think you all know. And let me just real quickly tell you how this started. Back when Dawn was a reserve officer for the Topeka Police Department, she found a box of the Jackie Hay case. Pulled that box out of where it was, started to review it, started to get other investigators interested in looking at this cold case. And for those of you that don't know about that particular case, that case deals with the disappearance and abduction of a 5-year-old little girl back September 12th of 1981. Because of her starting this process, because of the Crime Stoppers program getting involved in capital cold cases, which I think some of you have seen on television. New leads come in on these cases. it's expensive to work these cases. Because of that program and the leads that come in, the Topeka Police Department took the first step to actually start a cold case squad that we did not have before, putting their resources behind this. And we all know the power of partnerships. Without partnerships, a lot of things in law enforcement just don't happen. Because of those tips that came in, there's an ongoing investigation on that case. As I hope to be doing some investigative work on many other cases, if we have that opportunity. And this was a struggle for the PD because it wasn't in their budget. They had to decide to make that commitment to go ahead and do the extra things they needed to do to look at these cases. The only thing that I would say to you is if you have any questions reference the law enforcement side of this, investigatively wise, I'd be happy to answer those questions. And whether we are able to start down this process halfway through this year or next year, we need not wait. Because with all cases, the older they get, the more difficult they get to prosecute. And here in Topeka, Shawnee County, we have about 69 unsolved homicides back to 1954. Nationally, 6,000 murderers go free from prosecution every year in the United States. Let's not let any more of those happen here, and those that have happened in the past, there's no better time than the present to take active consideration to make this happen. So if you don't have any further questions for me, just want to let you know that it's a process we need to go down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioners, how do you want to go forward with this request?
Madam Chair, I would move at this time for the approval of $75,000 for the creation of a specific program within the District Attorney's Office for the prosecution or investigation of cold cases.
Okay.
And that would be for the year of 2013.
I'm going to second that motion. Is there discussion? I had spoken with Mr. Taylor before the meeting if 1 or 2 years. I was kind of looking at a 2-year commitment. And I'm going to kind of look to you to see if that would be a way to start out, if that $75,000 would be allocated for the remainder of 2013, and then we could honor Commissioner Archer's request about discussing it for 14 budget.
It would, and I've got no problem. We just need to get started, get off the jumping off point, and commit to it. As far as sitting down and revisiting the budget topics in January, or well, actually it won't be January, it will be in a couple of months, about how this will fit into the overall 2014 budget for the DA's office. I'm more than willing to sit down and entertain that. So,
Thank you very much.
yep, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
It was I seconded. Did you say?
Yeah, I did second.
Okay.
Aye, opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries 2-1. Commissioner Archer dissenting. Thank you.
Item C, drug court. Number 1, consider approval of, to submit an application for a 2014 Justice Assistance Grant that includes a $15,000 financial match.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jared Harson, 3rd Judicial District Court Services and Drug Court Coordinator. What you have before you is a Justice Assistant Grant application. Excuse me. We are requesting a financial match in the amount of $15,000. As discussed with you all individually, the commitment that I have requested from the Commission to our program, going back to 2005, began as $45,000, has been reduced to $20,000, and at this point in time, requesting $15,000. I have worked, as you can see in our sustainability plan, to have pretty much what I refer to as a 6-legged table. We don't refer on, but using outside resources to maximize our funding strategy, realizing the strengths on the Commission and the county. However, as you all know, with these types of grants, there is often a required local match, and it does display a commitment from the governing body to this program, as you all have in the past. But may I answer any questions for you this time?
Thank you, Chair. Other questions? And Chair, just for clarification, this is for 2014.
That's
This is
correct.
kind of one of those, I know we're in the
Yes.
middle, well, we're just beginning discussions about 2014 budget, but you have to have this grant in prior to that. So you've
That's
always
correct.
had to request.
It is actually due today, but however, you all are generally familiar with this process in that the grant itself begins on July 1st. The application process is, this is on the state fiscal year and operates on that. It's not, the federal one would be in October, which often I'll bring applications that refer to that. And then our calendar year is a little bit different. So this is an allocation for 2014, but the match is required as part of the application. One of the things that Mr. Archer in particular asked me about was the cost benefit of a program like this. Mr. Cook and I discussed it at length as well with you, Commissioner Bueller. And the real benefit for a program like this is the early intervention and judicial supervision that comes from we're working with a particular population of folks that are draining on the resources in the community in many ways. But if you look at the times that they are booked in and engaged with law enforcement, the county jail, as well as the court system, most of these folks have multiple cases for substance abuse issues, whether it be felony possession of narcotics, et cetera. Mr. Cook may be familiar with that process in its entirety too well, but not on an individual basis, but in employment. But in discussions earlier with our Director of Corrections, Mr. Cole, he brought to my attention as well that these folks are particularly draining on the resources in the jail, and that many of them have significant health issues. I mean, we're talking about folks that are inherently unhealthy, and we are working to get them engaged in our program, address their issues, and keep them from draining additional resources on the county as well. So in our request for $15,000, I hope that the Commission will consider our ability to work with outside resources and making certain that we are not draining the resources of the county, but also helping other agencies and hopefully impacting them positively as well.
Sure. Are there other questions? I'm going to move approval of the grant application.
I will second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. Comments? Or?
Yeah, just as a practicing attorney in Shawnee County, this is a program I've seen great benefit from. Commissioners, I've seen people that have been able to turn their lives around. It's not an easy program. It's not a quick program. And it is a long process that it takes for an individual to be able to become a productive member of society. And so I have seen the benefits of this program and do endorse it.
Okay. Further questions? All those in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Item D, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request to waive the purchasing resolution and purchase a replacement large capacity washing machine in an amount of $8,524.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. Before you today is a request to waive the purchasing resolution to purchase a replacement washing machine, high capacity, at the Department of Corrections. About a month ago, our washer went out, and we thought about going through the emergency purchasing resolution and trying to do that, but I didn't think that was responsible. I wanted to see if we could get through with the high capacity washers that we had. Come to find out that we cannot, that our workload is getting bigger and bigger. We have 3 shifts of inmate trustees that are working there. Through Kansas Department of Health and Environment, we have to provide clean clothes every day for the juveniles. While we are still doing that, we're running behind. We did go out to be proactive at the first. We went out and got a letter from the company saying that this could not be fixed, the existing one. It's antiquated. This is a machine that was purchased when the addition was built in 1998. It is far past outlived its warranty. This is a very good company. We went out and found 3 bids right off the bat if we were going to have to go the emergency route. And the company we're asking is the existing company who we've gone through. They're very good, and they gave us the lowest bid. I did speak with Betty Greiner, with the financial auditor and administrator. She came over to the jail. We talked and discussed, and we both, I wanted to run this by her to see if this was responsible, and I think we both agreed that this was an acceptable use of funds. Lastly, this was in submitting our budget for 2013, this was part of our capital outlay and our budget plan. This was something that we thought was going to happen. We were hoping it wouldn't, but it did.
Okay.
So, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you,
Motion to
Brian.
approve the request.
It's a motion to approve by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries, and this, just for clarification, it does come out of capital improvements?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Item 5, administrative communications.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Becky Neosi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Do you want to come up to the podium and, sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I've seen you at a couple different meetings, so
Yeah.
welcome.
Well, thank you. I look forward to serving, and let me know if there's anything I can do, or, I'm ready to work, so.
Becky is our new Register of Deeds, so placing Marilyn Nichols. You have big shoes to fill,
Yes.
that's for sure. So, all right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anyone else?
Morning, Commissioners. Allison Alejos, Health Agency. I just wanted to come up here and provide you all a little bit of information regarding a grant opportunity that's been presented to us. As you know, we are in the final year of our 3-year Sodium Reduction in Communities grant. There is an opportunity that's come up so that we can apply for another 3 years of funding. Actually, Kansas Department of Health and Environment can apply, and with that application, they have to have 2 communities to work with in those sodium reduction efforts. They have approached us about that application along with Sedgwick County Health Department, and so we are wanting to know if it would be okay for us to plan for applying with KDHE for that grant. They would actually submit the grant, and that's why I'm doing it this way versus submitting an application for your consideration, because it would be theirs, not ours.
Has a quick turnaround time as well, I believe.
June
was-
18th is the grant submission deadline, and it would be a 3-year grant. $250,000 max would come in, not to Shawnee County only, but for the whole state, plus Sedgwick and Shawnee counties. The focus again would be at increasing our efforts at decreasing sodium in work sites, various work sites, as well as convenience stores, having healthier options available for individuals. So that is the intent behind the grant. We're in the very early stages of trying to work the details out, but there is no required financial match, so it would be straight money for us to do the work.
Any questions? This time? Okay. All right. Proceed forward, I guess.
Thank you.
Anyone else for administrative communications? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Frank Kirkdale.
Frank, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name. What was your last
My
name?
name is Frank Kirkdale,
Okay.
a resident of this city for 69 years. The first time I visited a park in the city of Topeka, there was a bathroom in it. For 69 years, I've known there to be bathrooms in them. On Memorial Day, the Thursday before Memorial Day, I called Shawnee County Parks and Recreation about a portable toilet because the facilities on the park had been vandalized and closed. I was told then that we do not furnish porta potties. And I'm trying to figure out why it is, when it is the responsibility of this county to make sure that the health, welfare, and the safety of people are there. And when people are gathered in a park, that there should be some bathroom facilities there, furnished by the park department. State law says all those facilities shall be free to the public. My grievance right now is I had to shell out. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to try to get somebody to park department. Nobody, I'm not going to mention no names, but I called a numerous amount of people, top to the bottom. But the one person that they went back and talked to was this, I guess he's the commissioner of the park commissioner or whatever he is, that told them the same thing that he had told me. And I'm very disturbed that Shawnee County does not have a policy in place that if upon notice that there's going to be a large gathering. This gathering has been going on by my family for the last 35 years. There in Austin Park, there in the 2300 block of Jefferson. They built a beautiful park down there. They put beautiful bathroom facilities down there and a shelter house. But somebody vandalized it, and I cannot see why they could not have moved in a porta potty for that event. But I had to go in my pocket and get out $141 and some change. I'm here to ask if y'all would kindly be kind enough to refund my $141 for me renting that toilet, which it should have been responsibility of the park department to put there. I don't think that's a heavy request, just $141. But I was going to let it go, but it just peeves me when an employee of Shawnee County had the audacity to tell a citizen of the city of Topeka or of Shawnee County or the state of Kansas that he cannot use a park because there is no bathroom facility. And I would wish very much. I've got, look, it's the second thing I was going to do, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This here is this is Frank Kirkdale, Board of County Commissioners of the County of Shawnee, notice of a claim. I do not want to file a claim to get my money. I don't want to go through that process. But for the sum of $141, this is not trying to bribe y'all or coerce y'all or nothing, but it's just the right thing to do. Just send me a check for my $141. I appreciate it very much.
Frank, thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And we don't have checks to write right here, and we don't do it in that manner.
What could I?
But let me finish real quick.
Okay.
But I certainly, it seems like you've had some follow-up conversation, and to file a claim would be the right process to use, because we have certain things that we have to follow as well. So, okay.
Then the law says to be filed in y'all.
Okay.
So it's not something I wanted to do, but if that's what I had to do.
Sure.
On the back of that, you will see,
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of, there's a receipt on the back of that.
Okay.
But all the way through there, you will see all those laws that pertaining to the responsibilities of the county
Okay.
in parks. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, and I expect we'll have some follow-up discussion with Parks and Recreation about this file. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
Is there a need? Do not believe so. We are adjourned, and we will have a work session, though, regarding the banking services as soon as we finish our signing of our paperwork and all that sort of thing. Give them time to get set up if needed.